Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Luke and here on this channel I talk about classic, vintage, designer, affordable fragrances, and today I've got a massive perfume haul for you. This whole bundle of vintage minis and smaller bottles was sent to me by my friend Ange from the US. Yes, she sent it all the way from the US. I'll be testing, comparing and reviewing all of these, so if you're into vintage fragrances, especially those a bit more underrated ones, please keep on watching. So the first one is Poison. This is one of my favourites. I have a vintage bottle already, but I don't own the Esprit de Parfum, and this is the rare and sought after Esprit de Parfum, which is very rich, hypnotising, dark, almost vampy, I would say, and it's the best iteration of Poison ever created. This is perfection. I love this. I really hope to get a full bottle of this one. The next one is Beautiful from Estee Lauder. This one was created by Sophia Groisman, among others, and this is more of a fresh green, herbal, floral fragrance that morphs into an opulent, honeyed floral. It's very bold, yet springtime appropriate. I would say it's bright, optimistic, happy. I don't know if this is a vintage bottle or not, but this to me smells just like Beautiful, and I do like Beautiful. To my nose, Beautiful is one of the most realistic marigold fragrances out there. So if you love marigold, give this one a try. I will say though that the base is very substantial, is your typical 80s style base. It does have a lot of that heavy muskiness. The next one is Vanilla Fields from Coty, and I've really wanted to try this for the longest time and it did not disappoint. This is such an amazing 90s style vanilla fragrance. It smells a lot like cashmere from Chopard. It's a rich ambery vanilla with vintage vibe. It has that musky base again, but it's blended with peach, coconut, woody notes, musks. It's sweet, sugary, and it smells slightly plasticky. It has that dull-heady quality, as people like to describe it. And I do really love this. I'm glad to have a bottle in my collection. So thank you, Ange, for sending this as well. Moving on, we've got another Estee Lauder fragrance. This is Beyond Paradise. And I really thought this was a tropical fragrance, but this is a white floral, but the florals are very fresh and waxy, and it has a healthy amount of citrus. So it almost has this fresh aquatic quality. The bottle is really nice, but unfortunately, this is not something I would go for. But I'm glad I got to try it because I was curious about it for the longest time. I'm not a fan of tropical summer fragrances, although I will say this is not like the sickly sweet coconutty fragrances that are popular today. This is nothing like that. This is your classic vintage tropical floral. I also got two Ciaras from Revlon, the regular one, which I have a full bottle of, and Ciara Femme Fatale. Ciara Femme Fatale is nothing like the original. It's a peachy, vanillic version of Ciara. It came out 20 years later in the 90s, so the original is from the 70s, this one's from the 90s. I can really smell the vanilla, the peach, the nutmeg. It reminds me of other 90s fragrances like Chanel Allure, Tuscany per Donna by Estee Lauder. It's pleasant, it's sweet, it's wearable. I really like it and I'm glad I got to try it. The next one is Poeme by Lancome, and this one I had a bottle of before, so I was familiar with it. I really like this one. This one is the Perfume version, probably from the 90s. This must be a vintage bottle. It smells amazing. What can I say? It smells like Poeme. It smells amazing. I wouldn't say it's that different from the modern version, but again, I don't own the modern version anymore, so I can't compare them. This one is stunning. Lancome Poeme. This next one is Clinique Happy from 1998, and I remember this one. I tried it a few times at the airport, and I have to say it's not my kind of a fragrance. This is way too citrusy, too sharp, too synthetic smelling. It just doesn't work for me. but I can see why this could be considered a light, airy, uplifting fragrance. But on me, the citrus in this is just way too sharp. I don't normally like citrusy fragrances unless they're blended to perfection. This one isn't. This one smells kind of cheap, I'm not going to lie. I always give you my honest opinion. And in this first batch, I got 2 other fragrances. This is Realities by Liz Clairborne, and I've got to say, this is your typical nondescript floral. It's nice and pleasant, but nothing to write home about, right? And then this next one is from Elizabeth Arden. I forgot the name. I'll put it on the screen. I didn't write it down when I got it, so I didn't remember it. But this one is also a nice floral. It's a bit sweeter than the Liz Clairborne, but again, I only tried these on skin once. So these 2, I guess, nothing to write home about, as I said. I also got a whole bunch of samples or decants, and one that is mention worthy, I think, is Chamade from Guerlain. This is a fragrance from the 60s. It's your typical vintage green floral. It also has some amber. It's a very particular fragrance, very hard to describe. Moving on, we've got another Estee Lauder. This is Tuscany per Donna. I used to have a bottle of this one, a vintage bottle, but unfortunately it went off. That one was the Eau de Parfum, and this one is the Perfume, the pure perfume concentration. And I tried it, and to me, it smells just like my vintage bottle that I used to have. I'm so glad to have this. Tuscany per Donna is your typical fruity floral, woody, vanilla 90s fragrance, along the same lines as Samsara by Guerlain, Venezia by Laura Biagiotti, Chanel, Allure. It's that kind of fragrance. I do love this, and this is indeed a very rare and sought after fragrance. It's no longer available, and you'll have to pay a small fortune to get this on eBay. This next one is C'est la vie by Christian Lacroix. This is another vintage rarity, very hard to find, and I didn't look it up, so to me this smells just like, I have it in my hand right now, this smells to me just like a Sophia Groisman creation. And I'm looking it up now, and I see that it's supposed to have carnation. And yes, this smells to me just like a beautiful, spicy floral fragrance, but make it sweet and slightly vanillic. It's very special. I'm so glad I got this. I would never buy this myself because it's just so expensive on eBay and so hard to find. And you're taking a huge risk buying this because so many bottles go off. And this just smells amazing. It wasn't created by Sophia Groisman, by the way, but it does have that style of perfumery for sure. Speaking of Sophia Groisman, this one actually gets compared to SpellBound, and here I have a vintage mini of SpellBound Parfum. I have the newer version of SpellBound, which is still stunning, but this one is just so much richer. I love SpellBound. I'm so grateful Ange sent me this vintage mini, so I got to experience the original in all its glory. This is just stunning. I'll be cherishing this. I won't use a lot of it. If I want to smell SpellBound, I can wear my newer version, which is readily available, by the way. And speaking of Sophia Groisman, I have another creation of hers, and this is Paris. Paris, yes, this is the original Paris, and this to me smells just like I remember it. I used to have a bottle. I used to have a vintage bottle a few years ago, and I used it up. I loved it. This is a rose violet powdery fragrance, but this vintage mini, I have to say, smells a bit greener. It does have that green powdery opening that I just love. So Sophia Groisman is one of the most talented perfumers of all time, and this is a masterpiece. All of these fragrances are. Moving on, we've got another Estee Lauder, and this one is vintage Cinnabar. This smells absolutely divine. This is so much better than the current version. I have the current version. Yes, it's a spicy, ambery, rich, balsamic fragrance, but this one is just on another level. To me, this is a rich, spicy, ambery patchouli. It's on another level. I just can't describe it. This is so much richer than the current version, and I'm so glad I got this. Oh my goodness. This smells amazing. I can't wait to wear this. Obviously I won't wear it in the summer. It's a bit too heavy for the summer, but I can't wait to wear this in the autumn and winter. It smells absolutely stunning. She also sent a bottle of Ysatis, and this is a bottle of the Eau de Toilette. This is a vintage bottle. They don't make this style bottle anymore. And I own one just like it, so I'll probably use this one up first and then move on to my current bottle, which is a 50ml. This is a 25ml. I won't talk about this one because I talk about it on my channel all the time. It's a beautiful white floral from the 80s. Some people call it old-fashioned. I really like it, but it's very, very strong and not for everyone. The next one is Rapture by Victoria's Secret. This one again is one of those very sought after discontinued fragrances. This one was launched in 1992 and it's again your typical spicy floral. Let me spray it again just to remind myself what it smells like. Oh, this is very heady. This is sweet and heady. It has that Victoria's Secret DNA, but it also reminds me of fragrances like Red Door by Elizabeth Arden. It is kind of sickly sweet. It does have that sweetness. It also reminds me of Venezia by Laura Biagiotti. This is another stunner from the 90s. Again, I'm so glad I got this. I've been dying to try this one for the longest time. Rapture by Victoria's Secret. The next one is Jessica McClintock, the original Jessica McClintock from the 80s, I believe. And this is the Eau de Parfum. It comes in a rollerball. And I've got to say, to me, this does not smell that vintage. This is your fresh white floral fragrance. I believe it's Lily of the Valley. It's a fresh floral. I do actually really like this. This would be perfect for the summer. I can't wait to give this one a full wear. So Jessica McClintock, the original Eau de Parfum. Moving on, we've got two fragrances from Nina Ricci. The first one, we all know the first one, it's L'air du temps, and it's the original one from the 1940s. This is a carnation fragrance. I've got to say I'm not the biggest fan of this one, but it's a nice vintage fragrance for sure. But the other one is Nina, the original Nina from 1987. And this one is kind of a weird one. I can't really smell it on paper, but I do smell it on my skin. I smell something green and aldehydic, but to me this does not smell like anything. Maybe it's gone off, I don't know. I will try it again. I don't want to do it a misjustice. Moving on, we've got Lumiere de Rochas from 1984. And to me this smells a lot like Ysatis and Number 5. And I did look it up, and it's your quintessential 80s aldehydic floral, but I will say this one is a bit lighter, a bit more sparkling, hence the name Lumiere, a bit more wearable than Ysatis and Chanel Number 5. I do really like this. If it wasn't discontinued, I would buy a bottle. Moving on, we've got one for the Dynasty fans out there. This is Forever Krystle from Charles of the Ritz. And I've got to say, this is not what I expected. It's a very potent, musky fragrance. This is not your innocent, powdery floral. I would imagine Krystle in something a bit more innocent. This to me is not innocent. This is a very, very heavy, musky fragrance. Maybe it's gone off. I don't know. People in the comments who have this, please tell me. Is this supposed to be a musky fragrance, or has mine gone off? Because I really wouldn't imagine Krystle wearing a musky fragrance. I think she would wear something a bit more floral, a bit more innocent, but maybe that's just my impression. And speaking of animalic, this next one, Panthere de Cartier, this is such a rich, ambery, floral, animalic fragrance from the 80s. I didn't expect this. judging by the notes on Fragrantica, this would be more like Ysatis and other 80s florals and poison and things like that. But this to me is very rich, ambery and animalic. It has civet indeed. It has tuberose, carnation, gardenia, ylang ylang, and I'm smelling it now. And it does remind me of poison, but it's way deeper and more animalic. And you can see that the juice is just oxidized and macerated. So maybe it's gone off, I don't know. But to me, this is a very rich, deep, spicy, ambery, animalic fragrance. Panthere de Cartier. Last but not least, we've got two fragrances that are a bit more modern. The first one is Glow by JLo. I'm not a fan of this one, to be honest, and I'm not a fan of JLo either. I like Mariah Carey, I don't like JLo, so I'm sorry. And the other one is Amazing Grace by Philosophy. I believe this one is very viral on social media. And yes, it's a pleasant, sweet fragrance, but again, not my cup of tea. And then I got two more samples. The first one is Gorgeous from Michael Kors. Again, sadly, not my cup of tea. And Vanille Impériale from Houbigant. This one I do like, but it's niche and very expensive, so I don't really want to get my hopes up or fall in love with it because I know I'm not going to buy it. So there you have it. That's my vintage mini perfume haul, and a massive thank you to Ange for sending all of these over. I had a blast trying them out, playing with them, testing them, and I found some new favourites. C'est la vie by Christian Lacroix. I love that one. I love vintage Cinnabar. I love Panthere de Cartier. I love Vanilla Fields. I love Beautiful by Estee Lauder. We had a few fails, but you can't really prevent that. You either like something or you don't. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please leave me a comment down below and give this video a like, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Do you like vintage minis? Are you a collector of vintage minis? Let's chat in the comments. Have a nice day. Bye.